Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Not only does it help us out, you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. This week's movie, Crocodile Dundee. All right,
Yeah.
fellas, what'd you think about this shrimp out of the Barbie?
This, believe it or not, and I say this a lot, but this was the first time that I'd seen this movie. Like, I know, like, I'd seen it around whenever I was growing up. It was like a known commodity. This is the first time I sat down and just gave it a genuine watch. And it was, I can confirm, a movie.
Definitely one of those features you hear about.
Look, this has April O'Nipple
Oof.
and Australia Man the Man. These two people fall in love for real on camera.
Was
They
it?
got married, just so y'all know.
Did they really? Huh.
Yes.
Well, good for them.
Okay. Maybe that kind of makes sense because, like, I don't know, during the last half of this movie, because there's no middle act, like, the acting just kind of stopped. Like, you can definitely tell, like, what's her name? Actor. Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan. But, like, towards the end, they were no longer acting when they were in the room together.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
what-
were just doing stuff and being together.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get toward the end when you're in like that little family dinner or whatever and they start interacting a little bit, you start seeing like those mannerisms from the proto Virginia Madsen character where she's just like you see her like giving him the up and down just like constantly, like she'll with her eyes will go down to his mouth and then back up to his eyes, and like that's either really good acting or that's like legit I want you in me.
No, 100%. Like, she knew exactly how many crocodile teeth was in his head.
Mm.
Oh. Oh, did you bang her, Mick? I smell your fingers, Mick.
Dude,
Ugh.
fucking, that was amazing. Like, my own little headcanon was just like, you know what? When he comes back, he's gonna get off that plane like the Beatles. Everybody are
Yep.
just gonna be clapping, cheering up a storm, and he just like
Dude.
thumbs up.
It's a fish out of water story
Yeah.
with just genuine love story in the second act, which to me, even to this day, I'm fine with it. It happens. I end up chuckling a few times, but did it age well? God, no.
No, not at all.
No,
Wow.
it didn't. Given the production, like, it doesn't look cheap. It looks pretty good, even with the quality that I had. Like, it kind of feels like a TV movie.
Yeah, from what I've heard, this was made on the super cheap and it just came out of nowhere and did like bonkers at the box office, right?
Bonkers. Yeah, I think so. It made like an ass ton of money, but it still has that like underlying feeling of like the Saturday night special movie.
Hmm. Yeah, anytime that I've seen this like on or it just being on, it was just constantly on like TBS or TNT whenever I was a kid. So we're talking early to mid 90s. It was just constantly one of those television movies that I just never settled on.
Like, do you remember TNT or TBS or whatever, like we were saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It would be like, tonight on TBS, Paul Hogan is Crocodile Dundee, the ruggedly fuckable poacher.
Dude, speaking of that, like, this movie starts off with Paul Hogan in. I'm like, as an American audience member in 1980, whatever,
Mhm.
I've never fucking heard of this guy, and he is just like, boom, big old text. I'm like, oh,
Is that
yeah,
is that
Yeah?
Hulk Hogan's brother? I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
It did him no favors because as a giant fan of this movie, even until I was in my 20s, he was just Crocodile Dundee. Like, I
Right.
didn't give a fuck what his real name was.
Even his name in the movie kind of makes no sense. It's just like Mick Crocodile Dundee. Like, he pronounces his own, like, in parentheses name, like you'd find on Wikipedia.
Michael J. Crocodile Dundee, aka Mick. Yeah, I
AKA
guess so.
Dundee, AKA, I don't know, the fuckable Outback guy.
Whatever you want to call me, as long as it's not a poacher. Wink.
Yeah, so
I'm a poacher, all right.
poacher. I hardly know her.
So this movie
Okay.
is the tale of Mick Dundee. It's about a guy who's so Australian that he can't Australian anymore. And
Nope.
Crocs can't eat him. Women can't resist him. And by God, even in the big city, he's so fucking charming. Drag queens want to fuck him.
Like, he literally grabbed life by the balls.
Was that life? Is that what that was?
That was his name. Her name.
So let's set the stage. This is about a journalist first and foremost. This is about a journalist who was like, "Hey, there's some crazy shit going on with this guy up in Australia. Somebody said a crocodile bit his leg half off and he crawled out of the bush for 10 days to get back to wherever. What is it? Like Walkabout Creek to get back home."
Yes.
And she was just like, ah, irony, a man with no leg living in Walkabout. I must fuck that man.
What I lost in leg, I make up for in dick.
They call me old fucking decadile man. I don't know.
It's
man.
It's all right that I lost my leg. I had 3 to begin with.
He didn't even need crutches, I hear.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
But that's the movie, right? That's like, he's built this entire, I'll just call it a scheme, because it's not really a personality. He's kind of built his own little tourist attraction around himself.
Right.
She gets wind of it. She flies all the way to Sydney, a la wherever else, Australia, and she helicopters in like the beginning of MASH.
Oh, yeah, dude. Whenever she steps out, Walt's there like, oh, Mick's gonna have a field day with this one. And of course...
Fuck, dude. His buddies.
Creeper? For fuck's sakes, yes. At least with Paul Hogan and the Crocodile Dundee character, he's a creep for fucking sure, but he's got the pizzazz to sell it.
You know what? I don't think Paul Hogan as Crocodile Dundee in this movie is a creep, because you see him like, you know, moving forward with the whole like, oh, I'm gonna get her. But then like when it's totally uncomfortable, he's like, all right, mate, you know what? I'm not a fucking moron.
Maybe I'll just talk to this other broad. She's cheeky. I'm going way too British. I need to drop that down to the Southern Hemisphere a little bit, I think.
Australian to Cockney.
Yeah. So he does have like a little handler fellow. His name's Walter or Mr. Riley. Everybody's got multiple names in this. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just Khaki Man. He's been wearing those khaki shorts for, I don't know, all of 32 years.
He looks like he should have a fucking emu farm.
They lost the battle but won the war.
Oh.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo ate my baby.
Oh. Good job, sir.
You can't just throw that out.
KO.
All right, so she's going down to this village or whatever to see what is up with this Crocodile Dundee guy. She's hanging out there a little bit. He kind of comes off a little bit weird, doesn't he? Like, he comes off like, is this guy for real or is this guy just like making shit up?
Listen, Mick doesn't even come off like a main character when he shows up. He's just in the movie. Like, he doesn't really walk through a door. He's like, oh, there's my knife. Oh, by the way, I got a croc. I'm Crocodile Dundee. Look at me. You know, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's the guy. Ow, the title makes so much sense now.
Yeah, you can't confuse him. There's no way, because as soon as he's introduced, what's your name? Dundee. What you got there? Crocodile. 2 and 2. It's a movie.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's what Joe Exotic would be if Joe Exotic were straight.
Or if he wasn't such a piece of shit. Because, like, I assume Crocodile Dundee is at least to some degree a piece of shit. He's probably not quite to that degree, you know? This guy just, like, throws a knife into a bar just for fun, smacks a waitress on the ass. He's not doing anything, you know, anything too bad yet. We'll get there, though.
He's poaching.
I mean,
allegedly, right?
Yeah, and, like, at the end of it, he kind of threw it all away for, like, you know, a good New York slice.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, retroactively, in Crocodile Dundee 2, he's fishing with dynamite. He's poaching.
I mean, it's faster. I mean, he's just efficient Dundee now.
Right?
Or he's going for like a full brand redo, like Dynamite Dundee. Look at me.
Oh my God, yes.
That's a good one. That's for when he switches from WWF to WCW.
Yep.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dynamite Dundee. And he comes out and it's the exact same outfit, but it's a techno fucking didgeridoo. 100%.
I am absolutely sold. Give it to me. Sign me up.
Now, like, a lot of this movie, to me, spoilers, I guess, falls a little flat, but, like, I really kind of enjoyed, like, this whole bar scene because it wasn't, like, actors. I mean, they might have been extras, but, like, they just felt like the guys. He was just going around, just fucking about, screwing with everybody. And there's, like, this big dude, this big old bloke. He's like, oh, Mick, you better fight me. Don't punch the poachers. And he's just like, all right, I'm going to square up. And he fucking kisses him, and that's the biggest laugh this movie got out of me, and it was right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a kisser. He's a hugger and a kisser. He goes up to both the waitresses there, starts squeezing up on them, kissing up on them.
Motorboating them.
He's just a man with a lot of love to give, I guess.
Gotta hold on. No.
What?
Yes. Okay.
But no, he was having a good time back there with old bushwhackers.
Oh,
Good.
dude, yes. Luke and Butch were there. They were licking heads and slamming Fosters.
Foster's. And, like, the movie goes out of its way to show, like, Foster's is, in fact, Australian for beer. Like, fucking outside the pub, there's a giant... It's not even a sign. It's just a banner that they had to put up because it's in the movie.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. Fuck it. Why wait? Why wait, guys? It's Foster's. It's Australian for beer. What I've got today is Foster's Premium. That's the green can edition, old mate.
Now that's a beer.
Yep, that's a beer. It's not very good, but it's a beer.
Blow the foam off one, eh?
This is a lager, 5.5% alcohol by volume, and this is a big ass can too. 25.4 fluid ounces. This is as much a beer as this movie is a movie.
Ah.
I mean, all right, cool. It's literally like an Australian version of Sam Jackson. It'll get you drunk.
Yep.
I'm like a fucked up pirate, Sam Jackson. Crack it, motherfucker!
But yeah, that was the green can Foster's, the premium edition, and it's not good, guys.
Well, speaking of...
So the next day, the whole idea is she wants to go out to where the croc bit him in the leg, which we find out it was just a love nibble.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, the boat that he eventually shows her after probably, I don't know, 6 days of trekking for whatever reason, it just looked like, took a little bite. Just a little like, yoink, yep, not my flavor. See you later, pal. Please don't stab me in the head later on. Thanks.
Oh, no. He's getting his fucking revenge for ruining his goddamn barramundi gun hunting fishing trip.
Is this revenge? Is this what that is?
I always took it as Crocodile Dundee was out poaching and got attacked.
Oh,
but
man.
he didn't want to own up to it.
I mean, that sounds super likely, actually.
All I'm thinking is, like, if he didn't wind up, like, stabbing that croc in the head, I kind of pictured a scene very reminiscent of Happy Gilmore when he just rips off that cover. Is like, hey, Chubbs, I got his head. And he just falls in the traffic.
I like it.
See, I'm getting, like, Life Aquatic vibes. He wants to go back and get the jaguar shark that killed his friend. Except instead of killing his friend, he just, like, nibbled on his boat.
Do you think the boat was bitten or chewed?
Swallowed.
Just the whole ass boat.
That's where the croc shat it out. Perfect.
So they take this trip out to the bush, and he's making up stories here or there. Like, no, his hype man is the one who's making up stories, and Crocodile Dundee himself is like, well, I don't even remember what all he said, but he's like toning it down a little bit.
Like, you're not far off, because like I started to this fucking Days Off into the Distance too, because I think there's all this bullshit, and I was just like, I get it, it's fine. And like every once in a while, the camera would cut to Mick, and he'd be like, yeah, it's right. Yep. He's right. He's my historian. Don't worry about it.
He talks about how he's been out in the bush so long, he doesn't keep track of time or how old he is, his birthday or anything like that. And Crocodile Dundee is just like, well, no, I just got tossed around from relative to relative when I was young. Just kind of lost track. That kind of thing. Nothing serious. Probably about 41. I don't know.
Now, with this part of the movie, to me, this is where the charm starts to sit in. Mick is doing all these Tarzan-style things, but he's not doing them in a Tarzan-style way. So he basically scams her right in the beginning. Whenever he sets off with her solo, he checks Walt's watch, looks at the sky in front of her and goes, about 2:20. Yeah. She checks her watch and is like, wow, he's so good. And Walt just goes, yeah, he's the fucking best, bro.
That was a good one.
Scamming ladies.
That was a good one.
And you know what? Like, the movie lays that on pretty thick. Like, we get this, like, little bit of, like, hijinkery, whatever. But it never really, like, comes around any, like, I don't think she ever finds out, like, to be honest, she probably didn't care. She's like, yeah, I am here for that.
To be fair, he's not, like, all grifter. Like, he's definitely, to a degree, a grifter. But he's, like, he's got some skills. He's out there putting, like, bulls to sleep in the middle of the road with his little, like, hand motion
Wow,
thing.
wow,
I don't.
wow, wow.
Yeah, I don't
He
know.
just-
He's doing some shit, and he can stab a croc in the head.
I love how like that whole whatever fucking thing he did with his hand is so synonymous with this movie, but in hindsight, it didn't even alleviate the situation. Like it's still in the middle of the fucking
Exactly.
road
Yeah.
in the way.
They just ignore
Okay.
that. It's like, we'll go around.
You want to hear the worst thing? I've seen this movie so many fucking times, and until I watched it for this podcast, I didn't even care. I was like, oh, that's cool. I watched it today and went, this shit's still in the fucking road.
Did they just like drive over him then? Was he so knocked out that, he was just
Put it in
okay with
four-wheel
getting
drive.
run over? Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a poacher. It just drives right through it.
It's just the tires spinning, ripping it to shreds as he goes over, and it's just like,
Oh,
To shred, you
it
say.
can't do anything.
Oh, like the poor animal's screaming, and that reporter lady is just like deep in love with Mick, just looking at him. And he's like,
it's like
trying to
this,
work the gas and the gear shift, like, fuck it, come on. And she's just like, da, 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 da.
and the harder he's pushing the gas, the more raging his hard-on gets.
His vest flies off, the buttons go everywhere.
Exactly.
All the teeth in his hat are standing straight up. It's frilled out like a peacock.
Now you're getting it.
All right, so next thing you know, Mr. Riley, his little assistant, is dropping them off to be alone in the bush together. Or if anybody's going to be alone in the bush, you know who. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Oh,
No,
so
but
he wants to be alone in her bush. I gotcha. I understand.
Yeah, sex. They're going to sex.
Just verb.
But she's got a guy back home, and he is obviously just like a grifter. Why is she being so flirty just immediately?
Because the fucking dude he has at home is just girly man. Like, fuck that dude.
Is he
Dude.
girly man? I thought he was just
Have
like
you seen-
cocaine businessman.
Possibly. But have you seen Paul Hogan? Fuck, I was going to fuck this dude. He had me in his pocket. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
All right.
He's got that little like hand trick working on Brady.
Yeah, like insert yourself in the other role. This lady ends up literally marrying him in real life because this man is that ridiculously charming.
I mean, maybe we just have different types. I don't know. He's just not for me. I'm sorry.
Nothing turns me on more than a man who looks like a leather couch.
He's got the same patina as his vest.
That's what we're gonna put on. That's what we're gonna put on the Beards and Brews t-shirts. That quote right there.
By the way, subscribe.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like wandering around the forest, the bush, if you will. And they have these like little, I don't know, they're basically a couple at this point, but they have these like little moments where just like, little Sheila, you can't go out there. You don't even have a gun. Don't shoot me. You know?
All right.
Little couple quarrels at that point.
Yes, already. And she's known him for 30 fucking minutes. And she's already in love, moved in, and they know each other's habits better than anyone you've ever met in your life. That is literally what's happening at this point. And she's like, well, I'll show you, Mick. And wanders off to go get eaten by a crocodile. But this is ingrained in my mind.
I bet it
This
is.
whole bit with her taking off her clothes into that fucking singlet, side boob, thong bikini.
Fucking
is
80s
ingrained.
style.
You know what's great about that? Isn't like, you know, the obvious sex appeal, but the fact that you can see Paul Hogan look at her just like all the guys watching the movies. He's just like, ooh. You know?
It's like he's looking at all of us and is like, yeah, you're welcome.
And just at the bottom in like bold text, gratuitous butt shot.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love the depiction of raw excitement they use with Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan is sneaking a peek, and he's underneath this log, and she bends over, and he loses the best view, and he goes to raise up to continue to be able to see the best bits,
Yeah.
and bonks his fucking head on the log.
He's clearly close to her, and he knocks himself silly. And in the background, she never hears like the, "Ah!"
Or,
Yeah, like,
or
oh,
the
fuck.
thump or anything. By the way, I'm only going to talk about this once, but it is a lingering thing while she is in Australia. She does not sweat. She has perfect hair the entire time. She has makeup on. She has earrings on. And she is wearing basically what you would go to a wine tasting in Sonoma Valley. She is not prepared for this at all.
That's actually a really good point because as I was watching, I kind of felt like, man, shouldn't she be like a little bit more of a fucking bitch? You know, shouldn't she be whining about how hot it is and how ridiculous it is out there? But no, she's just like, whew, man, Can't wait to fuck this guy.
Yes, dude, it's so ridiculous. And every time there's a scene that shows, okay, so he saves her from the crocodile, runs up the tree, ka-choom, stabs a knife in her head while it's trying to grab her by this canteen. The scene did not age well, but the moment of them bonding afterwards is creepily real. Like it's fucking odd looking because it's just like two people. It doesn't feel like acting. It's really weird.
But there is that one thing that had me laughing because it came out of left field, almost literally. It's dark now. They're around the campfire. They're just talking, living it up, having a good time. And Paul Hogan's just walking around like, "Yep, this is the outback. There's just a snake over here. Hang on." Dispatched.
Yes. Okay. It's like he takes care of that snake like Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Kindergarten Cop when he snaps the pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So after saving her from the croc, they're sitting around the campfire, like you said, and dispatching snakes and just being uber fucking manly still. Suddenly, guess what? There's a fellow. He hears a noise. And you get a Leon the Professional moment where a knife just appears under some fellow's neck. And guess what? It's an Aborigine.
I do kind of like this scene. This guy just like sneaks up and he's like staring, and then you just see the knife. And it's just like, oh, my dude, what are you doing here? This is my buddy. Why you creeping, though? You trying to catch a peek?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I thought he was going to be frank about it, too. Be like, "Oh, Mick, I just came to see this fucking ass you saw earlier."
Well, they kind of do. He says, why are you interrupting the man when he's trying to round first base? And he goes, is that what she's doing?
Oh, I heard that as first aid.
Oh, was it first aid?
Yeah, because she had like a scrape or something on her ass from earlier, and he was like, "Let me take a look at that."
Oh, render first aid, not round first base. Gotcha.
To be honest, the whole time I was just thinking, like, why is everybody so cool about this?
Yeah, but like, there's another line from their little get together that I kind of love. She's a journalist. She's got a camera and everything. She wants to take his picture because he's, this Aboriginal gentleman that's, he's got the makeup and everything on. And he's like, "No, you can't take my photo." And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, because you think it's going to steal your soul?" "No, because you left the lens cap on." That was a good line.
I thought you were talking about the one a little bit later whenever she goes, "Mick, I can't believe it. That crocodile was going to eat me alive." And he just so nonchalantly goes, "That thought crossed my mind a time or two."
Yeah.
Like, all right, Mick, you smooth bastard.
Yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
For sure. But like the guy that showed up, he's like, I wanted to take a peek. Nah, not really. Me and the mates are gonna go fucking hang out and just paint ourselves. You wanna go play White Devil, White Devil?
Sounds like a right good time. Let's all do it then. Because women are forbidden. They're strictly taboo.
I don't know. It looked like a good time. They were just like stomping about some like fucking sweet beats.
Dude,
for real, though.
No joke. That's in my notes. I wrote down straight up, looks like a fucking hella good time. Like these dudes are just just doing whatever and having a great time stomping in some fairly warm ash.
Well, hell, they could have had her join just for the hell of it, just for movie's sake. She could just awkwardly walk around like, Bumblebee tuna, whatever. It didn't matter. Like,
She starts approaching the campfire, and somebody with a didgeridoo starts like blowing no.
But like in its replacement, we get a scene where like, she sneaks up on the party or whatever, and she's got her camera, and she's taking all these great pictures. She's panning across all these fellas having a good time, and Mickey's just there, just like, "There you are.
I see ya."
Yes.
Well, you cunt.
Oh no, Hannibal. It's a really weird moment because he's so in touch with everything that he sees her, and she addresses this later. "Mick, are you telepathic?" "Nah, you're just a Sheila." She goes, "Oh, you put two and two together." He goes, "Yep, you gonna blow me or what?"
Not now, but maybe later. But they do have a little like even after that, they have a little like Blue Lagoon scene. They get to this pond, and he's like, "Oh, this is mineral water. You know what that means? It means there's no crocs here. That means we can go swimming, and hopefully you'll get naked."
It's mineral water here at the Alexandria Falls, where you and 3 lucky people could win a trip to Floston Paradise.
Wow, amazing.
A 3-day, 4-night adventure featuring swimming and crocs and stabbing things.
Ooh.
with your own personal Crocodile Dundee. And that's what this is. It's like such a tourism ad.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
mean,
for
it's
sure.
working.
Well, kind of like once more. Like I don't know if it was the quality of the movie that I had, but like the water just looked like full of stuff. I was like, that's like where COVID came from or something.
I mean, maybe hepatitis. I don't know about COVID.
Fucking something's gonna creep up her outback, you know? Just
Oh, one of those little spiny fish parasite things that swim
oh
up your
no.
urethra.
It's one of those like really
that called
long
a-
worms they have to pull out with tweezers.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Either way, Mick's just gonna rip that thing out and snap it like a snake.
probably eat it too.
He just frying shit up, making her eat all that junk, and he's got like a can of fucking beans.
Yeah, I kind of like that, and I like how it comes back a little bit later. The yeah, you can live on it, but it tastes like shit.
All the
Yeah,
other
they
fellas
got-
love it, and she's like,
She got all these little isms that she develops throughout the movie with Mick that recycle, which helps to, I guess, build that idea that there is a relationship going.
Yeah, it gives them a little bond.
a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. But it's like we said earlier, at this point, you know, just before we get to New York, it does feel weird because, you know, it does feel more real. And the movie's idea is that, like, they're not quite there yet, but you look at them, you're like, yeah, they're fucking, like, already.
Oh, dude, yes. Like whenever they did the mineral water lake scene, they were nude, so you knew they were like, you can film from up there. We're gonna bang on the beach, and then we'll let you know when we're done.
Yeah, I mean, might as well, right? We're already here.
Oh, man.
You know. But she does say, like, during all this, like, hey, I'm gonna go back to New York tomorrow. You should come with me, you know, for the story. Wink.
Join the old Mile Eye Club. Oh, man. I didn't
Mile
even do an
Eye.
accent. I was just like, boy.
Willy, 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 Willy.
A little bit of the old ultraviolence on these crocodiles, eh?
Gonna give her the old in out, in out.
Or the old onesie twosie.
Boy. All right, so that is not the right accent at all.
Australia, get at us.
How badly this has degenerated.
Yeah.
So we're done with one fish out of water experience, that being the American journalist from New York in the Australian outback. Let's change places.
Chandler made a observation earlier before the cast where he said this was like watching 2 episodes of a TV series, and now he has forever ingrained that in my brain. And there is no better way to describe this. If you're a listener, this is 2 episodes of a series that goes no further.
I mean, I guess
Absolutely.
there is a Crocodile Dundee too. I haven't seen that yet, but maybe that's episodes 3 and 4. We'll see.
Well, that goes with like what I said earlier as well. Like, there's no middle act. Like,
Nope.
the script flips. He's in New York, and I get he's out of his element, but I don't know if it was written that way or like Paul Hogan's idea was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like he's wandering around the airport, like he's in the future or something. Like he just missed like 200 years of human evolution, and he's just like, oh, what's this moving stairs? That's
And-
fucking weird.
And I'll tell you, there's kind of a disposition here that is really interesting to me, because back when they were in Australia, this could be literally any time. This could be today, even though it's, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, no civilization, more or less.
Yeah.
That could be today. But when you go to New York, you are immediately reminded that this is the middle of the 1980s.
Oh yeah. There's someone out there who's already made this on YouTube, but like the way this movie fades from Australia to New York is just shot a plane taking off. Boom, World Trade Center.
Yikes.
Yes, it's more, and you'll get more of that too, of the New York tourism thing. Like whenever he's drunk later and gets dropped off at the fucking Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy though that he does come up with a line about New York. He's like, "Oh, come on, mate, can't be that bad. 7 million people all wanting to live together. Must be the friendliest place on earth."
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
Something else good that's coming up. We got Gus, the limo driver, Carl fucking Winslow.
Yes, chauffeur Winslow. I don't even know why my brain didn't compute it at first. Like as soon as I saw him driving, I was like, it's just a bloke, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he like turns around and looks at Mick. I was like, what? What is he doing? Is that what happened after he shot that kid?
Yeah, because he's got to be in everything inside of a car. This is his famous thing: is turning around from the front seat and looking at the camera in the back.
Maybe he's a really good driver, like in real life. I don't know.
I just like a little bit of like switcheroo. Like he's no longer Sergeant Winslow. He's actually Argyle from Die Hard.
Yeah. He's mixing things up. But there's a line. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's a line.
What tribe are you from, Black Fella?
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what's fucking ridiculous about that? He was right.
What was he?
Yes, because fucking later on in the movie, chauffeur Winslow yanks the boomerang off his car, comes standard by the way, hucks it at a guy, and he's just like, oh, well, mate, he was from a tribe. And he's just like, yeah, I'm from so-and-so. He's like, right.
Like, I
Next
know
scene.
that was in the movie.
Next scene.
I know that actually appeared in the movie because I watched it, but I refuse to believe that like 40 seconds of this film is canon.
Fair.
Well, speaking of things that, like, you know, get a little silly, so, like, he's in New York, and she has, like, some kind of, like, thing to go to, so she leaves him to his devices at the apartment, and, you know, he can't sit still, he's got to go outside.
Sure.
And the movie decides to be like, hey, do you know what would be great to prove that he's such a fish out of water? Let's just have him walk against the grain of traffic on the sidewalk for fucking 10 minutes.
Yep.
You would have had the same effect out of that scene in 30 seconds of it, as opposed to the literal 10 minutes of film it takes up.
It almost reminds me of how Survivor Man gets shot with Lee Shroud. He just puts the camera down, and then he has to walk all the way back, then all the way towards the camera again.
Like, the bad thing is, like, yeah, that's the joke, but it doesn't lead to anything. What it leads to is, like, he climbs up on top of, like, a street sign, trying to look, you know, directional to see what's all around and whatnot. You got a horseback cop there who's like, hey, what's this bloke doing? And all that happens, he walks him back to the hotel on his little horse.
I feel like there's like a missing scene, like a missing reel, because like through the whole movie, like you said, Brady, he's charming. I kind of want to see like where he talked to the cop. The cop's like, you're all right, buddy. Let's just go. Is that a knife? You're cool. Whatever.
Yeah, there's absolutely a missing scene there because there's nothing between him climbing up that pole and him going back to the hotel on horseback.
Just for the fans, gentlemen, let's act out this missing scene. Let's be Paul Hogan and cop. I am Paul Hogan. I am distracted. There is too much traffic. I must climb up to get a better view. Oh, crikey. I don't know how to get back to my fucking hotel from here. How am I going to get that sweet, sweet, sweet poon I came all the way to New York for?
Horse retorts,
hold on, I'm pooping in the street.
hey, I'm pooping here.
Hey, I'm pooping here.
Excuse me, Mr. Purple Man on the police horse there. Can you help me get back to my hotel room? Because I'm so fucking dashing. Look at my smile.
Hey,
shiny.
You got a knife there. What's that knife for?
Hey, knifey spoony.
All right, scratch this. This sucks.
Totally, because like I feel like the only reason why this thing is cut the way it is just so we can just have like a weird reaction shot of that Nazi guy from Indiana Jones, just like looking at him leave the hotel and come back like 5 minutes later.
Fair enough.
Is that the same guy?
I don't know. He looks meltable.
Oh, that guy. No, not the same guy. No. Close enough.
Close your eyes. Don't look directly at the fucking knife. It's too big. He's like, what? It's a very large.
Doesn't he wind up with that knife at the end of the movie just for whatever the fuck reason?
Yeah, he does. Because he's that cool, that's why. So he gets back to the hotel and he's like, all right, officer, thanks for the lift. Did you know bidets are for your asshole? Good day. Walks inside.
It's for washing your backside, right?
I don't know why it dwelled on it as long as it did.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like, this is an hour and 40, and it legitimately could have been, like, a solid 57 minutes.
But can we talk about the one thing that absolutely worked? Because, like, you know, he goes into the apartment. Everything's fancy schmancy, whatever. He's not used to it. But he sees the TV. He's like, oh, I seen one of these with my uncle. He turns it on. It's like, I love Lucy. He's like, yeah, that's what it looked like.
It just turns it right the fuck back off like enough.
Yeah, he just did his investigatory thing. Yep, that was it.
Yeah, but in the evening, that's when he finally meets the lady. Does she have a name? She's basically the main character in this movie, aside from Crocodile Dundee himself, and I don't know her name.
Sheila.
Jane? Yes, Sheila.
Sheila. Let's go with Sheila. We meet Sheila's man, who is just kind of an asshole, right? Like, they go out to dinner, and he's just like, oh, New York is no place for a country gent like you. I bet you don't even, have anything to eat here. Sorry, we don't have any kangaroo or possum steaks or anything like that.
I'm a dick. And
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee immediately goes, "Oi, what are they eating?" And every time he punches somebody, it's the sound of a shotgun going off.
Dude, it's the Indiana Jones hits.
Like, I know what
Yeah.
happened, but I don't know how it happened. Like, he so stealthily knocked this guy the fuck out that I missed it.
Poorly shot because like they shoot him from behind his shoulder, so you don't see his arm move. So
Mhm.
he's basically just like, "Hey, look, a distraction."
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's fucking weird. He fell over.
Must not be able to handle his drinks, right? Yeah, we got to get him home.
Meanwhile, his nose is under his eyeball. Man, he can't fucking drink.
Right.
So he fucking knocks this dude out, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we got to call it an early night, Nick. Get up early. We got things to do." He goes, I really want to bang you, and I thought we were going to bang. Who the fuck is this dude? Whatever. I'm going to go get drunk with a cabbie. And this cabbie dude is a fucking hero, bro.
He
don't
totally
even know
is.
Nick.
First of all, I love that Mick made a best friend.
Mhm.
Just like that. Two, Cabby is one of the best wingmen I have ever seen.
Yeah, like, not only does he join you for a drink, he lets you know when the girl that's hitting on you happens to have a penis.
He was very serious about that too.
Mhm.
Not the cabbie telling Mick, but once Mick found out, he's like, "Oh, grab."
Dude,
Mm.
dude. Okay, so Mick in this movie, Mr. Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, is the most carefree, loving individual. Never a negative thing to say. And he finds out that this Sheila is actually a healer.
Oh, no. No.
He fucking, his eyes narrow, his face looks just like an angry Clint Eastwood. He goes over and he grabs this guy by the fucking balls, and he's just like, "Oi, you got fucking balls," and he runs away.
Yeah, but like Paul Hogan was genuinely just befuddled by the whole situation. He left his hand out the whole time. He's like, "Oh, it was right there in my hand," or whatever.
Like, he doesn't even do this in like an aggressive way, or like he's not trying to, I don't know, be a dick about it. It's just like, cup check. Yep, that's a dick, all right.
And like you said, Eric, his hands there wide open, and he's got this look of shock. And somebody high fives him.
Yeah, I think it's the same dude that was like talking jive to him like 4 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was honestly
God.
a pretty funny scene too, because you got these two guys both technically speaking English, neither one of them understanding a thing the other's saying.
Oh, that's actually a way better explanation than what I thought it was. I just thought it was just like, how much out of water can this fish be? Let's just put him in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the other guy, the jive talking fella, I think he was as much confused by what Paul Hogan was saying as vice versa.
Yeah, it was a slang exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. But you know, Dundee's had enough. He and his cabbie buddies like, we drank too much. Let's skedaddle. And like on the way to finding his cab, like he runs into a couple of ladies of the night, and they're just like, "Hey, man, want some puss?" And he's just like, "Ladies, I'm new in town." Yes.
Then your first one might be free.
Well, like the charm kicks in, right? Because like he's not used to this whole exchange, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And like then they're like, "Wait a minute, I read about you. You're Mick fucking Big Dick Dundee. Like, dude, like you're a fucking hero or whatever." It's like, "Oh, I don't know, mate. Just fucking suck my dick or something. I don't know."
But their pimp pops up out of nowhere and is like, "Hey, y'all gonna talk all night or you gonna fuck?" He's just like, "Sorry, don't use that language in front of the ladies. I'm gonna knock you out."
Dude rolled up, was like, "Tunnel snakes rule," and gets decked. That's the whole scene.
Yes. Yes. It was just like, "Oi, beat it." And he's like, "These are my bitches." Boom.
Okay, so I'm a little confused about the next like 30 seconds because Cabby rolls up, right, to sort of get him out of here.
Yeah.
But we have Paul Hogan actually driving, right? Crocodile
Well,
Dundee, whatever, driving.
No, you're right, but the whole thing is there just to show like how out of touch he is. He's like, "Oh, in one of the so many accidents, the steering wheel's on the wrong side." I'm just like, okay, solid joke, movie. I'll give you that. You didn't have to show me Paul Hogan in real time trying to get in the fucking car.
Yeah, the line that I really like is, "Get on the right side of the road, you pelican."
Yeah, pelican.
You pelican. I don't know what that means. Is that slang in Australian?
Well, it's definitely going to wander into my vernacular from now on. So, kudos to the movie.
So the next day, once all this is settled, he's, at the hotel room having a nice bath. Probably hasn't had one in a couple of months. So it's a good time for him. And fucking Proto Virginia Madsen comes in. Maybe trying to catch a peek. I'm not actually sure.
You have that maid, and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Mick, I'm so sorry," or whatever. Like, "I have your towels." It's like, "Just leave them on the bed or whatever. Just don't look at my dick." And like fucking Virginia Madsen comes in trying to pretend to be the maid and do that whole sexy leg thing at the door frame.
Mm-hmm.
And Mick picks up his hat, covers his crotch. He's like, "Please don't come in." And then she reveals it's her. He's like, "Oh, okay, you can fucking take a look at the old hog." Takes his hat right the fuck back off.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you can see me, crocodile."
Yeah.
Oh shit! And it's again one of those like charming little moments to where, oh yay, they're so cute, and he has to get ready to go to this party, and it's more fish out of water.
Of
But
course.
there's
Yeah.
a fucking scene where he gets introduced to, I guess, cocaine, and this fella's in there snorting it. And he thinks that he's trying to fucking clear his sinuses, dumps all the cocaine in there, mixes in some water, and it's like a neti pot. He puts a fucking towel over his head and goes, "Hey, you gotta get your face down in that one." Like, fuck. Dude.
Now, is this just a brand new guy, or is that her boyfriend again?
That was
Generic
a brand new
80s
fella.
guy.
Yeah, brand new guy.
That's a brand new guy? All right.
And you can definitely tell this is like the 1980s because he's doing these like solid lines of coke in like Virginia, whatever the fuck, Shaler. She's watching Nick do this, and she's like, "Tee-hee, you just wasted like $1,000 of coke," and he's just like, "Oh, what, Australia."
Yes.
What's cocaine though? What? It's a drug. It gets you high. What's that mean? As he sips on a martini.
Well, I've never been high. I've been out back, and then audience laughter.
Yes, it was just a lot of that. This scene party is very, very flat.
Yeah.
And 100% could have been left out of the movie and still got the same point across, which was, hey, Mick, we're showing you off. Look how cool you are.
Yeah.
It's my dad. That was it.
Oh man, can we talk about the dad for a second? Because like the movie kind of like oddly lets the audience know that he owns the newspaper. That's who Sheeler works for. That's how she has all this money and stuff. But like the way they act with each other, they don't feel like father-daughter. Like,
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
She's like chilling in the office with like fucking 80s McGee. He comes in, he's like, "Hey, Sheeler." He's not Australian. "Hey, Sheeler." Like, yeah, she's the biggest catch in town. Haha, I'm your boss. But then like they'd have like a hug, and it's like that's not like a papa hug. That's like a daddy hug. It's fucking.
Yes, Daddy. Daddy, all caps.
Oh yeah, you can read it on her choker.
Bingo. Sugar is his first name.
I mean,
Gross.
maybe we don't know her lineage. It could be a sugar daddy. No judgment.
But this movie has the entire time had this underlying B plot of the love triangle. And it's fucking awkward because the one guy, there's nothing really wrong with him. He's not the manliest dude, but he apparently treats her right. He's just drunk and jealous of this guy that she brought home who's punched him in the face and is now stealing his woman. So
I think his biggest con was that like he spoke to her like a customer service representative and not like a loved one. He's like, "Excuse me, madam, please remove yourself. I must vomit outside the car." I'm just like, no hun, no babe, no nothing.
I mean, he does kind of propose to her. Like, he says, like, something along the lines of, like, "I want to make you my wife," and puts a ring on her finger. At no point does she say yes or anything like that, but she looks happy.
And then she does the most unorthodox thing. She takes the ring and just eats it.
Like a crocodile. End of the movie.
Just credits. Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
By the way, did we mention there's a woman at this party who has a very unfortunately designed dress? I don't know what the plan was for this dress.
Oh, the poop dress?
The poop dress. Yeah.
Dude.
It just focuses on the back of this dress, and if you look at it, it says poop.
I had to send it to you guys in the little chat we got because I was laughing my ass off. Like, just simply enough, like the dress is just like the alphabet, whatever, that's the pattern. But like as it goes down, it wraps around and it changes the letter. And so you have like P-O-O-O-O-O-P clearly on her ass. I'm just like, there's no way that this is not intentional. This has Paul Hogan written all over it.
Hey, what if we put poop on her bum? That'd be right cheeky.
It's funny because that's where poop comes from, eh? Clever girl.
We reference bidets too, eh?
That's the whole reason this movie exists. Just those two
shit,
poop jokes.
He's fixing her butt. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
dude.
Ass fetish.
Paul in parentheses ass man Hogan.
Mhm.
Let me show you my brown snake.
You got Crocodile Dundee.
Ooh.
Just D.
But this depresses Mick. He decides he's going to get some booze and go looking for a fight, and he finds one in some back alley, where he gets into it with Le Pimp and his two stooges.
Oh yeah, the same
Man.
pimp from before, and just like a couple of buddies of his are just like, "Hey, we lured you back in with our whores. Now we're gonna get you."
I know movies like this have to have like a moment of weakness for the character. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Because, 3 against 1, how can Mick do it? Oh, you're telling me he immediately dispatched the first guy and now it's more even than ever?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. What does matter is Carl fucking Winslow has a limo that he's gonna use.
And like as he plows through these fucking jobbers, I was just like, dude, that's vehicular manslaughter, brother.
What do you want me to do? Arrest myself?
To shoo-ba-doo-ba-ba-doo-ah. Family Matters.
Oh, he fucking hits him and then throws the boomerang and it sticks in the guy's head, and he's like, "Ha, did I do that?"
That's
Yes.
exactly the path of like brainwave that I was on. We forgot about the scene where they're walking. This is before the big party at Daddy's house. There's a scene where he and the lady are walking, just having a stroll at night. There's a guy that's like, "Hey, can I get a light? And how about your wallet?" And she's all scared. "Oh, he's got a knife." This is a classic. This is like the classic line from this movie, right?
Paul Hogan has the look on his face like, "Oi, who's this fella? Is this that Mick Jackson, eh?" And then it's like, he's celebrity starstruck. It's like, "Hey, this is a show."
Yeah, this is one of those guys that, they're like mimes or something in front of Times Square. I heard about these guys. They're great.
But then there's a hard pause, and he's like, "Wait a minute, fella. I hate mimes," and starts cutting him.
Fucking dices him up. And I love that his knife is so fucking sharp that they show him just in like a C carve, just a little like that, and it cuts all the way up his leather jacket and all the way down the sleeve.
But the line, "We're going to give it to you because we can't just, we can't give you that blue balls like that."
I got you the drum roll, Chan man.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. There you go.
And he pulls out his Crocodile Dundee.
Where does he keep this thing? It's
I don't know.
huge.
That's what she said, mate.
I've got a holster for my knife, and I got a holster for my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was that laugh, Chandler?
I still have so
but
much Foster's left.
He's depressed, and he's going to go gone walkabout, which means she's never going to find him again because he's just going to turn to Forrest Gump and start running. She finds out that he's 2 blocks away in a subway, and she runs there like the Dickens. And you get the cutest fucking end scene.
I guess. Is it?
I thought it was adorable. Yes, I will stand by
it's
this.
pretty cute. It's definitely like 80s schmaltz, like 80s romantic comedy kind of thing. And that didn't bother me. It was actually kind of cute, like you said. I kind of feel like there's a missed opportunity that, like, the bellhop's just like, Subway's just 2 blocks away. And Mick's like, "Hey, thank you." And then, like, we assume he's headed towards the metro. But I kind of hoped when they cut to him approaching the subway, he just, like, walks right in the sandwich place.
Even better. He finds that whore that he's already met twice, and he's like, "I'll take that free one." He's just in an alley banging her.
He just uses his fucking coupon.
Third time's a charm, man.
Cashes it in. Got to use it before he's out of town.
Yeah, so you're right. This is the end of the movie. This is the last scene. They finally meet up in the subway platform, and it's super packed, super crowded. She can't get to him. This is some Sleepless in Seattle bullshit.
But it also drills in the fact that this is like episode 2 of that series, because he runs into her arms, they hug, he has a big old leathery smile, and it just cuts the credits. It just fades to fucking black. I'm like, how do you fucking end a movie right at the crescendo?
Yeah, that's exactly the way it like just as you described. There is no like resolution there. It's just like they meet up, they kiss, everything's happy. She's not going to marry the guy that she was dating.
You guys didn't stick around for the mid-credit stinger?
Well, did Sam Jackson finally try to employ him again?
No. It cuts to like 10 years in the future, and it shows Mick kind of with a little fat belly sitting next to the caddy guy in their recliners eating television dinners while he yells at old girl to bring him more Fosters. Like there's two kids running around.
Is that real? I can't tell if that's
I want
real.
it to be.
All right, so Brady is a fucking liar.
I kind of wanted it to happen though. I kind of like wanted them to get together and then like they just turn out like that trashy family down the street.
Oh, 100%. Because he can stop schmoozing once he's got her.
So, you guys, this means that we've got to do Crocodile Dundee 2 now, because I got to see where this goes.
Yes, the sacred duology.
As long as it never goes to Crocodile Dundee 3.
Yeah, there's a third one too, and it's set here evidently. So maybe we'll get to that too. Give it a couple years.
Yeah, leave it in the comments below. You want to see us, I don't know, do more movies.
Do the movies.
If you'd like to see Crocodile Dundee 2, hit that like button. If you'd like to see Crocodile Dundee, Crocodile in Los Angeles, or whatever the fuck it's called, leave that one in the comments.
It's called Crocodile Dundee 3.
Oh, it's not, but man,
I don't believe
should
you.
have. Oh, all right. So, at the end of everything, I don't remember this movie being so boring. I had way more fun just hacking on it, goofing on it than I was watching it because there's so much filler. It's almost like there wasn't enough movie, and they're like, man, that was a good, I don't know, hour. What else are we gonna do? Well, what if Mick talked to some rich people for 5 minutes and it goes nowhere? Okay, that's an hour 5. What else we got? Other than that, there are some blips of genius, some brilliance, specifically from Paul Hogan, because he is charming. The movie's just not well written for him, I think. Maybe it's different in the second one. I don't know. Leave in the comment section below if you want us to see it. But there's just not enough. There's just not enough.
Man, you're spot on. Like, I know this is like a well-known, kind of revered movie, super big from the 80s into the 90s. Like, it's a part of pop culture. This movie's not good. Like, it's not bad. There are some quips in here, some lines thrown out here or there that are good. They're fun, they're catchy, they live on. But as a total movie, this isn't good. I really do think it would be better as just like a TV series. You'd get to spread that out a little bit. Get these characters a little bit more life. But as it is, nah.
You think they gave us like 2/3 of a movie and like the last bit is like extra DLC?
I think they gave us like half of a movie, and I don't know. I want more, but there's also just like too much that doesn't need to be here.
To me, it was like the pilot of Mad About You, except for instead of him being a film producer, he was just Crocodile Dundee. Just swap Paul Reiser for Paul Hogan, and you got a show.
I could smell you, Hunt.
Oh, no. I still love this movie. I find it very charming. Paul Hogan and the old girl are perfect on screen. And for what it is, and by what it is, I mean a background movie. This isn't a sit down and pay attention to movie. This is, I'm doing the dishes, or I got company, or the kids are playing. I just need some noise to help me not go nuts. This is top 10.
I'm doing something else. If I'm lucky, I'll look up and see one of the scenes that makes me laugh.
Yeah, I'll lock onto the side boob and then go do something and then come back in time for the stab.
Come back in time for when Paul Hogan's shirt's off.
Oh, God, yes. I mean, what?
Well, there you have it. That was Crocodile Dundee. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, make sure you leave it in the comment section below.
Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Bash that bell icon so you know next time we've got another one of these brewing.
Get out there and follow us on social media. We got all sorts of it. We got Instagram. We got Facebook. We got Twitter. We got Reddit. We got YouTubes. We got Apple Podcasts. We got Spotify. There's no reason you guys cannot find us and absorb us into your fucking brainwaves, just the way that Paul Hogan uses his hands to force the brainwaves of those animals to chill the fuck out.
Now, didgeridoo it.
Yeah.